Is a presentation of the Big East Conference Television Network. Big East basketball. Tonight's game features the Friars of Providence College against the Orangemen of Syracuse University. Big East basketball is brought to you by US Air, America's most frequent flyer. By your local Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Avis, we're trying harder than ever.
Providence College basketball is sponsored by the Rhode Island Blue Cross and Blue Shield family of health plans. No one protects you better. Al Max, your hometown supermarket, and Dunkin' Donuts. It's worth the trip.
It's Big East basketball tonight from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, where the Friars will try again. They have never won in this building. A very pleasant good evening. Welcome to Syracuse. I'm John Sanders. It's difficult to win here. Difficult to win at all against Syracuse for Providence. The Friars have lost 21 straight games to Syracuse. The last time they won was when Dave Gavitt was coach back in December of 1974. 3 great games last year, though, between these two teams. Working with me tonight is Dom Perno. Dom, I mentioned those games last year, especially the one here at the Dome. 100-96 was the final. It was a beauty. Up and down, up and down. Will we see more of that tonight?
Well, that's what it looks like. Rick Barnes said today he's going to play his transition game. He's going to press man-to-man D, and that's what Syracuse wants to see. They don't like the 2-3 zones that are down tight. They've had trouble shooting. Rick likes that type of game. That's his basic philosophy. I think he's going to go with it.
And when it goes well for Providence, it goes well outside. We talk about Carlton Screen and Eric Murdoch. Offensively and defensively, they're the two guys that help make it happen.
They do it all. Carlton Screen, of course, the floor general. He loves to direct traffic. He finds the open man consistently, game after game. He also can shoot. He's in every category for Providence. He's a great one. Of course, the other guy, the other man with great hands, Eric Murdoch. You put the ball near him, he's going to take it away from you. He's so dexterous. He's got so much dexterity, you don't know how to play that guy. He takes advantage of everything that you give him.
UConn defeated Syracuse in the last outing for the Orangemen, and the last time they lost, they played here in the Dome, and they went to the man who matched his career high with 24 points, Derek Coleman. He's the guy they needed to go to, and they did.
He's the go-to guy for Syracuse. 17 a game. He could probably average 25 if he wasn't so unselfish. He's a great rebounder. When he gets the ball inside, it's usually a deuce. He goes to the line now, and he's delivering there also. Where he's demonstrated he's got a little more dexterity is handling the rock in the open field. He gets to where he wants to go, and he usually finishes it off.
Well, the problem for the Orangemen of Syracuse has been shooting. If they don't shoot it well, they don't win. That's what's happened in their 2 losses.
Well, Syracuse, when they play Villanova and UConn, they packed it in. Rick Barnes wants to play his man-to-man, which does give Syracuse a little more play. However, that's Providence's strength, and they'll go to it.
And they will stay with what they do best. Both teams love to run. It should be high scoring. It should be fun. We'll have the starting lineups for the Friars and the Orangemen from here in Syracuse right after a word from your local station.
For the Morgan City, Louisiana, 6'5" sophomore, number 23, Dave Johnson. From Staten Island, New York, 6'11" senior, number 25, Abdul Shamsuddin. For Syracuse, 6'10" senior out of Detroit, Michigan, number 44, Derek Coleman. At center for the Friars, 6'10" senior from Bronxville, New York, number 30, Marty Conlon. At center for the Orange, 6'10" sophomore from North Highlands, California, number 34, Richard Manning. At one of the guard spots for Providence, 6'2" junior from Bridgewater, New Jersey, number 14, Eric Murdoch. At guard for the Orange, 6'9" sophomore from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, number 30, Billy Owen. At the other guard position for Providence, 6-foot senior out of Brooklyn, New York, number 11, Carlton Spree. And for the Orange, 6'4" senior from Los Angeles, California, number 32, Stephen Thompson. The Providence College basketball coach is Rick Barnes, Syracuse head coach Jim Boeheim.
It will be Boeheim and Barnes. Big East basketball coming up. Back with the tip-off for tonight's game from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. First, a word from your local station. The leading building in the country attendance-wise is right here in the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. 33,000 is capacity. There was Big East basketball earlier today. A matchup between Seton Hall and Pitt. A game that went right down to the closing seconds, and the Panthers won it by 2.
Well, Pitt got their first win. Big win for Paul Evans' team. Of course, they're playing with a number of injured people.
21 in a row for the Orangemen. The 3 last year, an average margin of 88-84 Syracuse. They were all close. Johnson with it along the baseline. Manning starting in place of LaRon Ellis, even though Ellis probably played as well as any of the Orangemen in the loss to UConn.
He certainly did. Of course, Manning a little better shooter from the outside, away from the basket, and possibly that's the reason why he's starting.
Manning takes the first shot, also the first miss. Conlon with the first rebound. Conlon had a big game at Providence against Syracuse last year, 29 points. Murdoch outside is picked up by Johnson. Now Burton looks to screen, goes instead to Conlon. He'll shoot that outside shot. Penetration by Murdoch, goes down low to Conlon, lays it in.
Syracuse opening it up with their man-to-man defense, and Providence demonstrated some patience, coming back, of course, with their man pressure. We talked earlier that Rick Barnes is going to play man-to-man, and that's what they're in right now.
No three-point shots at all for Syracuse against St. John's in their victory here. It was outlawed basically by Coach Jim Boeheim. They did take some against BC and also against UConn.
Well, I think today they're just not putting the ball in the basket. Of course, that's what they do best, John. Second and third shots, that's the key to Syracuse surviving offensively.
Coleman followed with the tip in, a 2-2 tie. We played a minute and 20 seconds of the first half. Screen outside.
Screen will control the Providence offense. Of course, Murdoch gets involved a great deal. He's got an awful lot of offensive talent.
Too hard, tries to get it back and does. In the lane, turns around. Now it's Shamsuddin with a miss. Conlon strong with another rebound, and he traveled that time. Rick Barnes has never defeated Syracuse, obviously. He is 0-3, now in his second year, a 28-15 overall record. Quickly, Owens comes back the other way, and that's what the Orangemen want to do. They want to run, and they want to take it all the way to the basket.
No doubt about it. The little press, they extended it 94 feet. Syracuse got it down the floor. That certainly stimulated their offense.
You see the full court pressure being applied.
Providence will use this, John. They'll go to it, and then they'll back it to their man-to-man. It's the first trap that's got to be effective for Providence tonight.
Thompson all the way down the lane, rolls it in. The foul is called on Burton, counts the basket, and Barnes is out on the court. He is all over Jim Howell. Howell, one of the officials, along with Bob Madigan, and our referee is Peter Pavian.
Stevie Thompson loves penetration. You see it there. It did look as if Quinn Burns stepped in, and of course, that's the controversy right now. Rick Barnes gets a technical. They're still going at it. He's certainly questioning whether he stepped in or not, and everyone is holding back the young Friar coach.
He really popped off the bench. Derrick will be at the line. Completes the three-point play.
Well, that's a questionable call, of course. It's a judgment on the official. Is he moving? He obviously was under the basket. He apparently thought Quinn moved into Stevie Thompson, who...
Now the three officials huddle.
Foul charge to Quentin Burton, number 15, and a technical call on the Providence bench.
So the technical was called against Barnes.
Well, you see Stevie Thompson. He does leave his feet, and you could see Quinn Burton moving in, and it certainly looked as if The call was correct.
Now Jim Boeheim at the other side of midcourt wants an explanation. He's talking to Peter Pavia right now.
What's interesting, John, we talked about this in the opening of the show. Providence is going to go with their defensive philosophy, up-tempo type game. And of course, what's happened here, the press has stimulated the Syracuse team, causing Stevie Thompson to find an opening, which he loves to do. Technical is called, and of course the crowd is into it. Syracuse is out of the blocks, and this was very important coming off that tough loss to Connecticut on Monday.
By Stephen Thompson, and then the two-shot technical.
Thompson will shoot the foul shot first. We had one shot taken already by Coleman, but that will not count. Thompson will have to shoot his foul shot. He makes it. Now we can shoot the technical. Well, a couple years ago, you would not have expected that Derek Coleman would be the guy shooting technicals, would you?
That's for sure. He's really come along in every facet of his game. Of course, Stevie Thompson, he made that foul shot. The crowd went crazy because he has been struggling from the line, and I think when Syracuse starts delivering from the foul line, they get their up and down tempo going. They can be very tough, in particular in this building.
Coleman hits both technicals, so that turns out to be a 5-point play for Syracuse, and the Orangemen, after a couple of minutes of basketball, have jumped ahead 9-2, and Syracuse will still have the basketball. Technically, this is a battle for 4th place in the conference right now. Coleman against Conlon. Yes. 6 points for Derek Coleman.
There wasn't much more Marty Conlon could do that time against Derek Coleman. He had great defensive position. Coleman fadeaway J, good.
And Murdoch answers at the other end. Eric with his first basket. He has 2. Conlon has 2. 11-4 is the score. The early lead belongs to Syracuse, aided by the technical and the 3-point play. Coach Rick Barnes is still working on the officials along that Providence. Conlon trying to muscle Coleman. Six fouls in the Big East, the first for Conlon. Marty has not fouled out of a game all year.
Syracuse, of course, now looking to Coleman's ball handling ability to bring the ball up the floor versus the Providence pressure.
Thompson outside, picked up by Carlton screen. Here's Owens. Starts along the baseline, spins away, and has to go back to Coleman.
John, what it looked like against Syracuse, against Connecticut when Syracuse played Connecticut, they were unsure whether to take it or not to take it. It'll be interesting to see if Syracuse looks to it and just goes to it, and there's Billy Owens.
Manning with a rebound on the other side, but it's too hard. Tipped up, Dean comes down with it for the Friars. Providence starts back down by 7. Burton for 3, short. Long lead to Johnson, who has it knocked away, and the Orangemen will keep it.
Well, one area that Providence has to be concerned about, if they're going to press, they're going to have to get back quickly on defense. They like to get that initial trap. If it doesn't go, sprint back, show your spots. So Syracuse will not get numbers in their break.
Thompson goes up with it in the lane. Dean there for the rebound. Again, Providence coming back. It's kicked away and out of bounds. Touched last, says Jim Howell, by Carlton Screen.
Well, Screen, of course, the man that Providence will always look to get the ball, get it going up the floor, either by way of their fast break or just to run their offense.
Derek with it. Gets it low to Owens. He's all alone along the baseline.
Great entry pass by Derek Coleman that time, away from the defensive man by way of a bounce pass. Finished it off for the hoop.
13-4 Syracuse. A steal by Johnson against Murdoch. Eric will pick up the foul, his first.
Syracuse's defensive pressure is as active as I've seen it this year. Coming down the floor at that time, Dave Johnson, excellent job in his position. Bringing it up the floor, you see the defensive position, hand in the passing lane, exactly what you want. What he didn't realize is that Stevie Thompson was on his left. If he just controlled himself a little bit, he had him on the left side, and that would have been a jam. Of course, he's going to the line to shoot two foul shots.
Syracuse, as a team, averaging over 88 points a game. They have one of the nation's largest margins of victory, averaging over 17 a game more than their opponents. Also almost 10 rebounds a game more. But shooting-wise, their lowest total since Jim Boeheim's first year here, 1977. Johnson misses a pair at the line.
Shamsuddin doing a nice job of controlling the defensive board. He's active and aggressive, and that's what Rick Barnes needs out of Conlon and Heath tonight.
Murdoch outside. There's banging inside, and the foul is going to be called away from the ball, either on Manning or Owen.
Personal charge to number 34, Richard Manning.
And it is Manning who picks up the first foul of the game on the Orangemen. 15:45 to play first half. Syracuse 13, Providence 4. Back to the Dome in just a minute. The 9-point lead triggered by an explosion by Coach Rick Barnes as he got all over Jim Howell and company, drew a technical foul, turned out to be a 5-point play for the Orangemen, and they are out in front by 9 at this point in the game. Still early, 15:45 remaining first half. This is John Sanders along with Dom Perno, and we're happy to have you with us tonight in the black and white. The visitors from Providence, they've never won in this building, have lost 21 straight to the Orangemen. Syracuse coming off a loss to UConn, trying to turn it around at home. They've lost only once here this year, lost only once at home last year.
Well, they've gotten out of the blocks pretty well. Now, of course, they're in a 2-3 zone, and they got a big zone, of course, and Providence is going to have to prove that they could stick the outside shot, which they like to look to.
Derek Coleman way outside, hounded by Conlon. They get it down low to Manning, turns with a little jump hook. Murdoch chases it down, but Coleman winds up with it. He can't hang on as Bragg picks it up. Marquise Bragg in the lineup. He's played well for Providence. He had an outstanding game in a 2-point 93-91 loss recently at Georgetown.
Exactly, and I think Rick Barnes has to feel pretty good about that particular play because Marquise has come into the game, stimulated the action, picked up the loose ball, and that's Providence game. They come up with all the loose balls when their traps are going well. They're causing things like that to happen. That time, comes up with it, gets the ball to Murdoch, and he goes to the line now after he was fouled.
Only the second team foul on the Orangemen, the first of the night on Stephen Thompson. Marquise Bragg, though, is bothered a bit by a little bit of a lower back problem.
He's a very strong player. He's a power forward. When you put him in the game, he does make a lot of things happen. Interesting to watch, John, is the Murdoch-Owens matchup. It looks as if Jimmy's pulling Derek away from the hoop and isolating Billy Owens down low because he has about 4 or 5 inches on Eric Murdoch.
Murdoch gets it back after the miss. 13-5, an 8-point difference. Early in the first half, Conlon kicks it to Burton, who's back on for Shamsuddin. Baseline, Bragg with a miss. Conlon kept it alive, but Marty has picked up his second foul. That'll be 2 on the senior from Bronxville, New York.
Marty active on the boards that time. Went over the back, called his second foul, and of course Providence right into their could be a man full pressure here. They're not looking for the trap on the initial pass. Conlon, of course, daring Stevie Thompson to come to him, but no trap on that defensive effort.
Johnson penetrates, and following is Owens. 6 points for Billy Owens. A 10-point lead. Here's Bragg. That'll be goaltending. Count the basket.
Well, Marquise Bragg that time filled the lane, got down the floor, and held the screen. What he does best is find the open man. Got it down the floor, and of course there was goaltending by Manning.
LaRon Ellis checks in. He did not start the ball game. Edwards is also in the lineup. Edwards, the first scholarship recruit under 6 feet tall in the decade of the 80s, and there is what Stephen Thompson loves to do best, is to penetrate, and pushes that lead back to 7.
Well, he's a slasher, and when he finds an opening, it doesn't have to be much. He usually delivers, and that time he filled it up again.
And Burton answers. First basket for Quentin Burton, who's averaging 10 points a game. They don't have a 20-point type score on this team. They want solid all-around performance from everybody. Edwards gives it to Owens. 8 for Billy Owens.
Jimmy Boeheim getting the little guy in the game. He does deliver the ball extremely well. And, of course, Providence playing a full-court man-to-man D, causing Stevie to advance the ball quickly. And that time, Edwards found the open man.
Burton for 3. Ellis with a rebound on the other side. Coleman for 3. comes off the front. Derek does have 4 3-pointers. On the way to the hoop, a foul is called. The basket will not count. And Michael Edwards has picked up his first personal foul. Michael's a freshman. He's from Voorhees, New Jersey. It's only 3 team fouls, so the Friars will key it in under their own basket, down by 10. Screen with it outside, returns it to Murdoch. Penetration. Bragg can't get the roll, and Coleman, who will become the Big East all-time leading rebounder before he's finished, throws it away.
Big rebound that time. They had the break. Murdoch.
Eric Murdoch with his 21st 3-pointer of the year. He now has 6. That slices the lead to 7. Screen working over Edwards and picks up the foul.
Edwards has done an excellent job coming into the ball game for Jimmy Boeheim. He's really the only true point guard to get some action out there. And when he does have the ball in his hands, they do have nice balance offensively. And what he does extremely well is keep his head up all the time looking for the open man.
Bent, the junior college transfer, checks in, replacing Marquise Bragg. Coleman's jumper is short. Screen. Smallest man out there right now. Picks up the rebound. Well, that may not be true. Edwards may be a little smaller. Here's Conlon in the lane. Up he goes, and he's fouled by Ellis.
Great first step by Conlon that time to the basket. Ellis lunged at the man. You can't lunge at Conlon because he has a great first step to the basket as demonstrated right here. Going up, and Ellis coming in strong, but fouls Conlon.
So to the line goes Marty. He's shooting over 73% for the year, averaging almost 15 a game. Didn't really get the roll on that one as it came off his fingers.
Looked as if it came off the side of his hand. Conlon has nice positioning on the line. Looks as if he can be a very good foul shooter.
Makes 1 out of 2, has 3 in the game. 19-13, 12:34 to go. We're in the first half here at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Edwards pushes it up against screen. Ellis off the baseline. Soft jumper, good.
Big difference tonight is the ball is going to the big guy. They're not hesitating. They're going right up with it.
The turnover gives it back to Thompson. Screen went for the steal. Couldn't get it. Thompson misses the shot. And Coleman is fouled on the play. Marty Conlon has picked up 3 fouls now. So Conlon, who as I mentioned is not fouled out of a game, in first half foul trouble with 3, and Abdul Shamsuddin will return.
Tough foul to get. He's extremely active on the boards. Conlon is. Picks up the foul, and that does hurt Rick Barnes' club because he's aggressive, he's hungry, he really fills a void for them, and now they have to go with a smaller team, probably a little quicker, however.
And that gives Jim Boeheim a chance to rest Derek Coleman as he brings in Manning. Here's Ellis with another jumper. Too hard. Burton chases it down for the Friars. Here comes screen. Back comes Providence. 10-4 overall. Bent down the lane. Left-hand jumper, good.
Nice lefty going to the basket that time. Syracuse can't lunge at the people from Providence because they'll take it to the basket. That time Bent fills it up with the lefty.
Edwards for 3. And Paco, as they call him. Carlton screen cracks it down, and the foul will go on Ellis. Ellis has fouled out of a Big East game with the new 6-foul rule. He fouled out against St. John's right here in the Carrier Dome last week. He has 2. 11:39 to play first half. 21-15 Syracuse here in the Dome. More after a word from your local station.
Page 47 in tonight's program.
I recall the game here last week against St. John's. There wasn't any question about the player of the game. In that case, it was Derek Coleman as he matched a career high. Syracuse with the early 6-point lead. And Providence maybe not quite in sync yet, Don. They haven't gotten their rhythm yet.
They're not, but I think they're starting to come back somewhat. Their pressure is just straight man-to-man, full court, 94 feet. Carlton's screen, really impressed with him because he's involved in every aspect of the game.
Here's Burton. Coleman and Thompson set to return for the Orangemen. Marty Conlon on the bench with 3 personal fouls. Still 11:15 to play first half. Murdoch gets some penetration. Screen for 3. Bending off. And a foul inside is going to go on Greg Bent.
Syracuse right now playing a 2-3 zone, John. They're packing in. They got 3 big people. Dave Johnson, of course, rebounds as well as anybody on the squad. And they've got great position in their 2-3 zone. If they can rebound the ball out of that, I think Jimmy feels they break the best out of their 2-3 zone, even though he started the game man-to-man.
Manning will be at the line. Coleman back in. LaRon Ellis sits down. Billy Owens was replaced by Stephen Thompson. 11 to play, and the Orangemen could be shooting a lot of foul shots the rest of this first half.
Of course, they have to demonstrate that they can put the ball in the basket. And I think he went to Manning tonight just for a change. They had a tough game at Connecticut. Sometimes that stimulates the action. Jimmy's subbing more tonight than he has before.
A new 45 on the clock as it goes off the foot of Stephen Thompson. Here is Chris Watts checking in. Watts, the junior from Milford, Connecticut, will give Murdoch a rest. Screen in Murdoch, and it's Screen playing more. He's averaging about 33 points, or 33 minutes a game, about 30 minutes a game for Murdoch. He gets a little more rest. Screen looks to Watts. Watts loves to shoot the three. In fact, that's basically all he does shoot.
That's his game. St. Joseph High School in Connecticut. He really can fill it up, and when he goes in, he's waving his arms right here.
Burton traveled. I think he tripped just a bit, Dom, as he took the pass, and it cost him a turnover.
Exactly. That was a great move for the basket. He did finish it off, but once again, very tough to penetrate that zone. It's tight, it's big, they're long, and it looks as if they're going to stay with it.
And Johnson outside, picked up by Burton. Now Manning looks inside. Finds Thompson in the lane. That'll be an offensive foul. Wipe that basket out. So Stephen Thompson picks up his second personal foul.
Well, Stevie Thompson loves to wiggle, spin. This time he gets down low, but Watts has good positioning. Charge is called. That's the call that Rick Barnes would like to have added early in the game.
Cost him a technical. Burton way outside. Watts, who has made only two two-point baskets. You can almost count on one hand the number of two-point baskets he's made in his career. He's in his area right there. Bent tries to go back outside. Watts just right in front of Jim Boeheim. Now it's taken away by Edwards. Thompson with him. It's a 2-on-2. Edwards slows it up. Now Johnson working against Watts. Hangs, fires, can't hit. Shamsuddin back the other way for Providence. Here come the Friars. Screen looks down court. That's a travel.
Syracuse can't ask for a whole lot better in shot selection. That was a good shot. He's got to finish those off. That's what Bernie Fine said earlier in the game. He said, Don, we just are not putting the ball in the basket. We feel the shots that we've been taking have been decent percentage shots. Marvin
Sadler, number 55, checks into the lineup. And Billy Owens is back on for the Orangemen. Less than 10 to play first half. It's 21-16 Syracuse. The Orangemen have been up by as many as 10. Along the baseline, Owens. Back out to Edwards. Looking inside. Sadler deflected it. It's a 3-on-3. Screen waits for Watts. Gets it back. Sadler, baseline jumper, good. Sadler, who was suspended for a couple of games this year, trying to get out of Rick Barnes' doghouse.
He is. He hasn't put in an awful lot of minutes of late, but he's come back into the game and drilled one. And, of course, Rick uses a lot of people because he's going all night in that pressure D. And the kids know if they stay ready, they're going to get playing time.
Thompson draws a crowd. Misses the shot. Coleman with Shamsuddin on his back before the shot.
Well, I think Derek says, boy, I can't wait to get in that NBA because I know that would have been a good hoop. A little continuation, but he demonstrated then why he's one of the leading rebounders in the country.
He is the leading active rebounder in the country coming back this year. Ranked in the top 10, and as I say, Don, before it's all over, he will wipe out Patrick Ewing and be #1 all-time rebounding.
What he does so well, and you see Rick Barnes talking to Watts there on the sideline. He just has great timing. He extends those elbows. He's over the basket most of the time when he gets his rebound.
He misses the front end there. Trent Forbes in the lineup. He's got the ball, number 20. Only 11 players on the roster for Providence. We've seen all but Turner so far in the first half. We have seen 10 of them.
Michael Edwards getting a lot of playing time, and I think Jimmy's going to go to him more and more because he is that guard.
A 3 for Burton. Somebody pushed off. I believe it was Billy Owens.
A little push, you're going to get caught. The official hanging right under there, and Owens, of course, 6'8", had position. Jimmy thought he had the spot, but was called with the push.
You and I were talking prior to the game about Jim Boeheim and the fact that so much every year is expected of him because of the type of talent that he has.
He only wins about 27 a game every year, but he does a heck of a job, and I think when you win that many games, John, the demands only get greater and greater.
Johnson Dean now with a chance to slice the lead to 2. Bending in. He'll get another. Villanova has won a Big 5 game over St. Joe's. 69-62. Tipped up and controlled by Coleman.
Providence getting back very quickly, staying with their man-to-man defense.
Here's LaRon Ellis. Tried to go inside that time, couldn't. Thompson was fronted by Forbes, who comes up with the basketball and then turns it back over. Trent was a little out of control, and Syracuse some trouble finding the hole. They have not scored since the 12-17 mark, so it's been 4 minutes.
Well, I think what happens is they're not taking anything from the outside. They love to penetrate and dump it down low if they can. Of course, they've got great inside people. But Providence and Forbes that time had good defensive position on Steve Thompson.
Ellis low. Johnson off the baseline, rejected out of bounds. Sadler and Shamsuddin teaming up to knock it away. And Jim Boeheim wonders where the foul call was.
And there's all kinds of bodies getting banged under there, but they're letting them play, and the action is fierce underneath, and that's straight man-to-man D, where Providence does a nice job is helping.
Here's Coleman against Shamsuddin. Stephen Thompson. Billy Owens will shoot from the side. Too hard. Sadler keeps it alive, but it goes right back to Coleman. He misses a dunk, and Johnson runs it down. Here's Owens again. To Ellis outside. Shamsuddin picks up the foul, his second. And I guess as a coach, Coach Derek Coleman, you like to see him become offensive-minded, not look for the pass, but take it inside. You know something's going to happen. Either he's going to make a basket or this, draw the foul.
Exactly. Right here, you know they're going to come right back to me. You just missed the dunk. Takes it to the baseline area. Is fouled before he gets to the shot, but Derek can't put the ball on the floor very well, and Syracuse is really trying to push it down low. If you look at some offensive sets, I think there's 8 guys in the blue. It's amazing. Someone's going to have to stick the outside J because it's going to be there.
He is 3 out of 5 at the line. What happens, though, is you don't have anybody to run the break sometimes, and the other team can get a break. UConn had more fast break points than the Orangemen.
Well, of course, they have 5 forwards, and all of them want to go to the board. When they do that, you leave the backcourt area bare occasionally.
Spin the pass inside. Good feed to Shamsuddin. Good job by Sadler that time.
Very nice inside passing. Sadler has come in. He's made some good things happen. Providence is right back in this ball game.
Just down by 2. And the 2, you might say, the technical foul shots. That's the difference in the game right now. Owens against Burton, hanging, hitting. Count the basket. Billy Owens has 10 first half points.
Well, the young man from Carlisle, PA, he can do it all. I think what Jimmy Boeheim would like to see him do, instead of always taking it to the hole, pull up for that 15-foot jump shot, because he can stick it, but his team can go to the basket as well as any team in the country.
Owens averaging over 16 points a game. How would you envision his development once Coleman leaves this team? Will he change? Does he want to be a point guard? What do you think is going to happen to him?
Well, I'll tell you, probably his true position is a small forward spot. You know, you hate to have him too far away from the basket because he can do so many things.
Checking back into the lineup is Michael Edwards. He'll be on the court when we come back. It is Syracuse 24, Providence 20. We'll have more in a moment.
We know Syracuse wants to push the ball inside, but take a look at Trent Forbes. I love the pass away from the defense. Sadler can get the ball and maybe go right back up with it, but he has enough sense to know the open man, Shamsuddin, coming in on his left and slams it through. Nice offensive effort.
There's the final on that Big 5 game. Villanova defeating St. Joseph's. Early on, Georgetown has a 1-point lead over UConn in Big East play tonight. Here with 6:53 to go at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, it's 24-20. The Orangemen, who've led by as many as 10. Back on again is Bragg. Gives it to Burton. Murdoch is back. Shamsuddin, we've not seen Conlon since he picked up his 3rd foul. That was midway through the first half.
Probably going to let him rest a while on that bench with the 3 fouls. They hate to have him get his 4th.
And they try to go inside to Bragg. It's knocked away by Laron Ellis. Edwards falls down. Murdoch in the lane will score. Thank you very much. Look what I found.
Mr. Opportunity. Every time there's a loose ball or something crazy happens, Murdoch seems to have his hands on the ball. That time, Edwards had it. He picked it up, lays it up, and Providence down 2 only again, John.
Carlton screen set to check back in again for the Friars. Coleman spinning inside. Good move. That's 9 in the first half for Coleman. Forbes quickly at the other end. This is a 3 and it's short, but there's Murdoch again. Up, under, and fouled.
Eric Murdoch is some basketball player. Takes the 3-point shot. Of course, you see Ellis there having his hands on his head. Murdoch going to the line, but you have to box Murdoch out because when he takes a shot, he goes and gets it. Not a lot of people do. Edwards did not box him out. He picks it up, goes to the basket, great body balance, and is fouled. And Murdoch just does so many things, as we said in the opening of the show.
3 on Laron Ellis. This is not a 2-shot foul, but it won't matter. He'll get the second one anyway because he makes the first. Over 70% on the year for Murdoch, who averages 14 a game. He's now 3 out of 4.
Well, it'll be interesting if Edwards looks for his shot because they've been looking down low to Coleman and Ellis all night long. If he gets that J, he may look to stick it.
Edwards outside to Thompson. Thompson to Coleman. Well, the first place they do look is down inside. Where Ellis is, gives it back out to Owens as they go in and out. Knocked away by screen. Thompson saves it up with a jumper just off the lane and good.
They got to look to it. It's open. It's there. Providence has 5 men collapsing in that lane. Stevie got to about 12 feet, stuck the J, and Syracuse has to do that for their offense to be effective.
Baseline to Burton. Jumper good. And a foul called. I believe it's on Marquise Bragg. Count the basket.
Basket is good by number 15, Quentin Burton.
Peter Pavia coming all the way over to the scorer's table. Count the basket. Apparently the foul is on Laron Ellis. Manning will replace him.
What Providence does as well as anybody in this league is when you score on them, you better get that back down the floor because they're not hesitant in taking the open jump shot. They'll push it right down your throat. And they really have a great knack of when getting burnt, coming down the floor and burning you.
We'll double check it. They might have called a double foul between Bragg and Ellis. Murdoch is trapped on the side. Fights his way through, but turns it over. The count got him before he could spin away from trouble. Exactly 5 minutes to play first half, and it's a 28-26 Syracuse lead.
Well, Syracuse, you see Rick Barnes.
He wanted a foul call, didn't get it.
I know, something is going on, but Syracuse active and aggressive, trapping out of their 2-3 zone.
A lot of playing time in the first half for Edwards. Here's Manning, who started. Thompson looking at the 3-point line. Not supposed to do that, according to Jim Boeheim.
Exactly. They are looking for the shot that's there. Of course, they love to get it inside, as we talked all night.
Owens down the lane, hangs. Can't hit. Shamsuddin with a rebound on the defensive boards. Back comes Paco. Screen down the lane, gives it up to Burton. He had the 3, takes it down the baseline, and it goes.
Great bounce. Quentin Burton from Columbia, Maryland.
Well, the ball game is tied at 28. The Friars have scratched back from that 10-point early lead that the Orangemen had.
They really do. Their defense is right in the lane. He's got to take it.
Edwards is going to come right back at him, but it's Screen stepping in front. A chance for Providence to take the lead. 4 minutes to play. Burton for 3. No. Here's Shamsuddin up and rejected. Knocked away by Owens. It's tracked down by Murdoch. Knocked away again by Owens. Edwards now. It's a 3-on-3. Edwards, Owens, yes.
There's where the little guy provides them that spark that they don't have usually because he fills the lane, finds the open spot, and that time delivered it as well as anyone can.
Burton has it taken away. Shamsuddin up with the left-hand short jumper is good. So Shamsuddin has the answer. We're tied at 30. 3:25 remaining first half. It's starting to get more interesting now. Thompson into the lane. Hanging, bad shot. Tipped up. Dean battling with Owens, out of bounds. It'll be Providence ball.
Well, Rick Barnes said we're not backing down. They didn't back down against Georgetown. They were in the hunt the whole night. They're doing the same thing this evening.
It is 30-30 with 3:15 to play. We'll be back to the Carrier Dome right after this. We're even at 30 with 3:15 to play. Some sparkling defense this time by number 30, Bill Owens.
Well, you talk about Billy Owens, versatility personified right here. Blocking the shot with his left hand and then beating it up the floor to fill the lane and get the hoop. He's a versatile player. He can play anywhere. Probably his best spot might be in that small forward position, John.
So he got a block, also knocked one away. It's still tied at 30. 7 different Friars have scored. Only 4 players have scored for Syracuse.
Excuse me, John. He's going to man-to-man D right here.
A miss by Murdoch. Watts, who's on the court right now, gets it back. Bent and Bragg. So a different look to this Providence lineup against Manning, way short. Coleman starts up with 2:45 remaining first half. Johnson, left side, knocked away from him. And it's Screen with a steal.
Chalk up another one for Carlin. Don't put the ball in front of him or you're going to have some problems.
Murdoch for 3. Owens with a rebound. Coleman along the baseline has it stripped away as he battles with Marquise Bragg. And Derek is going to go to the line once again.
I'll tell you what, Derek Coleman exemplified why he's one of the big people in the game. That pass was almost 1.5 feet above the hoop. He got it, almost finished it off. Just an unbelievable, there's no way just an average athlete can get that pass. Finishes it off, goes to the hoop. He's fouled here, but Derek Coleman can do it all.
He had to go into the Providence cheerleading squad to make the catch. Hits at the line. 4 out of 6 for Derek. He's in double figures. Owens has 12. Eric Murdoch has 10 points for Providence. Into the lineup is Conrad McCray, number 13. McCray checks in, a freshman from Brooklyn. Manning sits down. Back to Derek Coleman, who hits 2.
They just keep bringing those big horses off the bench.
Yeah,
man, huh?
one's as big as the other, aren't
wow, he's a big guy. He's supposed to be an excellent rebounder also.
He is 6'10". Manning is 6'10". Ellis is 6'10". Bent comes down with it, held ball. Possession arrow favors Syracuse. He got it blocked on the way up. And to his surprise and dismay, it was still in his hands when he came down.
Positioning on defense so important. It's a good entry pass, but McCray right there. Benton, of course, nowhere to go. And the possession is Syracuse's ball.
So the tie is broken. Syracuse by 2. The Orangemen have the basketball. We're inside 2 minutes remaining first half. Bent, a tough job now trying to cover Coleman, who goes to the right hand. Bragg with a rebound, leads to Watts. It's a 3-on-2. Bent, too hard. But right there to follow and lay it in is Bragg. Marquise Bragg gets his second basket. We're tied at 32 with 1:35 to play first half.
Providence just keeps coming at you. If you don't block them out, they're right on you. Not a good foul by Watts there.
Chris will pick up his first personal foul. Burton and Sadler will check back in for the Friars. Bent will leave and Watts will leave. Those are the changes for Coach Rick Barnes, who after one great season at George Mason took over at Providence. He was also an assistant at Ohio State, Boston College, and Alabama. Only 33 years old, and he's in the Big East Wars.
He's the youngest coach in the Big East. I'll tell you, he's done a hell of a job. He really believes in his philosophy, John, and that's what's being exemplified here tonight. Had that technical call on him early, but his guys have battled right back into this ballgame.
We've got some banging inside. It looked like Jim Howell caught Sadler with a foul. So Marvin picks up his first halftime score. St. John's 33 and Boston College 29. We're a minute and 19 seconds away from halftime here. In the bonus situation at each end of the court. That will put Johnson at the line where he's 0 for 2. He has not scored in the first half.
Well, defense at both ends has been very aggressive and active. Syracuse, I think, doing a very fine job tonight in their man-to-man, and then they've changed the 2-3 occasion. Of course, Providence has stayed man all night, and they're at you, they're fighting away all the time, and that's pulled them right back into this ballgame.
A pair for David Johnson, the sophomore from Morgan City, Louisiana. The lead is 2 again, 34-32, the Orangemen. Burton against Owens, who got a piece of it. Now Carlton screen to Burton again. They roll that pass inside. Bragg has it blocked by Coleman, who can't hang on and lost it out of bounds. That little move, that inside feed, is something that Providence worked very hard on in practice in their shoot-around today.
Well, I'll tell you, Providence, watch the way he enters this to pass. A great entry away from the defense. That's a pro move right there by Derek Coleman, getting to the ball.
Along the baseline, Murdoch. Somebody got a piece of it, but Sadler follows. He can't score. Burton battling. Here comes Coleman with Thompson. Over the top they go. And Derek Coleman has it banged away. Out of bounds. It'll be Syracuse basketball. That stretch was played well above the rim.
You can say that again. I'll tell you, there was action coming there.
Chris Watts, 33 for
Derek Coleman, the big guy, gets it started over to Stevie, and Stevie Steve's Dave coming along the baseline for the slam dunk, which they did very often last year when they had the little general controlling their offensive play.
It was dunk after dunk after dunk between these two teams last year. Watts is on the court trying to pick up a foul, I think, against Thompson.
Yeah, they wanted to go to the line, I guess. They'll take a shot at that.
Coleman has it batted away. Knocked away, and it belongs to the Friars. Touched last by the Orangemen. There are about 32,000 who don't agree with that call. 33 seconds remain in the game. It's remain in the first half of the game. It's 34-32. The Orangemen up by as many as 10, but as you pointed out, Providence just won't go away.
They will not. You score on them, they come right at your throat. That time, Murdoch, great effort to take the ball. Screen comes up, and here Providence is going to wind it down, get the last shot, go up, either tie it or go down 2.
Shot clock is off. Screen with 8 seconds, better do something. Here's Watts. Murdoch's going to have to put it up. Nope, he traveled. So with 1 second, they turn it over. They got it to Eric in traffic, and he couldn't get the shot off.
Too many horses down low there. There was a lot of action. Murdoch tried all of his fakes, but couldn't get to it.
Owens from beyond half court.
That's halftime.
We are at halftime in Syracuse, New York. The Carrier Dome, where Jim Boeheim has never lost to the Friars of Providence. Rick Barnes. The Friars go back to work. We'll be back with more halftime after this from your local station. At the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, I'm John Sanders with Dom Perno. 34-32, our halftime score. As advertised, a good one. Providence definitely in it against the Orangemen. But a former Friar is now in the NBA frying pan. His name is Stu Jackson. He's the subject of a special halftime report.
From a Friar in the Big East to a Nick in the Big Apple, Stu Jackson has made some big moves over the last 2 years. This summer, he was offered and accepted one of the top jobs in basketball, the head coaching position of the New York Knicks. And at 33, he becomes the youngest coach in the NBA.
I think it's a great opportunity, especially, I think at my stage in the career, early in my career, to get an opportunity like this is really more than I've ever fathomed.
After a career as a player for the University of Oregon and Seattle University, which concluded in 1978, Jackson pursued a career in college coaching. In 1985, he joined forces with Rick Pitino as an assistant at Providence College.
I just love the school. I enjoyed being there for 2 years. Follow every box score after every morning. I have the schedule, pinned up on my wall. And, I'm one of their biggest fans. There are a lot of players on that basketball team that I recruited, and I just happen to feel very, very close for, and I wish them all the success in the world.
In 1987, Jackson followed Pitino to New York as a Knick assistant coach. And now he has the unenviable job of following in the popular Pitino's footsteps as the head coach of the Knicks.
Anytime you follow, what I consider a legend, it's always going to be tough because you feel you have to measure up.
I think Stu Jackson is someone that not only was a loyal assistant, but he paid his dues. Stu is strong in every area. He's a strong communicator. He's a strong motivator. He's a strong X and O man, and he's doing a great job with the Knicks right now.
Assisting Stu Jackson in New York is another former PC assistant, Jeff Van Gundy.
I think he's adjusted very well. I think the players have great respect for him. And in this business, it's very important that they like you as well. And Stu is a very likable guy, and I think they have a lot of fondness for him, and that's why they play hard for him.
And the Knicks have played hard for Jackson so far this season and lead the Atlantic Division. Now that Jackson has achieved the goal of becoming an NBA head coach, what's next?
Maybe win a couple championships or something, and maybe go to some junior high school team and coach them for a while.
And wherever that junior high school might be, you know that PC fans will be rooting for Jackson's team. I'm Michael Gwynn.
It is halftime in the Carrier Dome. Syracuse by 2, 34-32 over the Friars. We'll be back with more halftime activity, and our Big East halftime report is coming up right after a word from your local station. Tonight's second half of Big East basketball is brought to you by US Air, America's most frequent flyer. By your local Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. By AT&T, the right choice. And by John Hancock Financial Services, real life, real answers.
Providence College basketball is sponsored by the Rhode Island Blue Cross and Blue Shield family of health plans. No one protects you better. Brooks Pharmacy, you'll like what we do for you. Narragansett Electric, caring about energy, caring about you. And Team Rizzo, offering Ford, Pontiac, and Cadillac.
We are back once again at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, a 2-point difference at halftime, and we welcome you to Big East basketball. I'm John Sanders, along with Dom Perno. The Friars were able to overcome the early technical foul when Rick Barnes got upset. A 5-point play and the basketball back. As far as Syracuse was concerned, the Orangemen had a 10-point lead, but the Friars had battled back to make it close at halftime.
It's a strange half, John. It seemed as if Syracuse had the hammer for a good part of it, although they couldn't finish off a lot of good opportunities down low. Providence, on the other hand, knows they want to keep coming at you. That's Rick Barnes' philosophy. He won't let you stop. If a guy doesn't do it, he pulls you right out. He puts another guy in there. They've hung right in there with his philosophy. Give him all the credit in the world. And I'll tell you, look at turnovers. It's crazy, but Providence has 14. Syracuse only 8, and of course Providence
That's not what you would
press.
expect based on what happened, would you?
Not at all, but
those are the numbers. Let's check out the shooting percentage, which has been a problem for Syracuse. Coming into the game, each team has made 13. Syracuse has taken only 3 more shots. That's a plus for Syracuse. At the line, it goes this way in the first half. Really not a lot. Syracuse, as you might expect, by taking the ball inside, Dom, has had more opportunities. And the rebound edge, also surprisingly, goes to Providence, because you've got Syracuse, a team that's out rebounding its opposition by 10 a game.
We mentioned it's been a strange first half, and of course the rebound demonstrated that right there. But here you see Stevie Thompson bringing it up the floor. Of course, Dave Johnson taking it strong to the basket. And of course, Billy Owens, young man from Carlisle, right place at the right time, finishes it off. This one of the fine plays for Providence when Sadler finds Shams Sadine coming in, and he quieted the Syracuse fans with that jam.
Conlon will be back on the court to start the second half. He sat much of the first half because of the foul problem. Murdoch with it. He's on with screen. Shamsuddin and Burton. And from outside, a 2-point basket. Carlton Screen's first basket of the game. The tie as we begin the second half. It's 34-34.
Well, the big difference in the teams offensively is Providence will look to stake that jump shot, whereas Syracuse wants it drilling inside if they can.
Here's Manning, who got the start over Ellis. Ellis is in more foul trouble than anybody. He's got 4. Thompson for 3. Shamsuddin battling Owens. It goes out of bounds. Touch left by Owens. The call made by Bob Madigan, who is working the game along with Jim Howell and Peter Pavia. So Jim Boeheim may see his team go behind for the first time. We played less than a minute of the second half.
Well, it'll be interesting, John, to see if Jimmy Boeheim goes at Conlon. He's playing Derek Coleman, so they may look to him a little more readily this half.
Murdoch got Johnson in the air, but couldn't get the foul. Coleman takes the ball out of the air and goes to Owens. Billy to Thompson, along with Manning and Johnson, the starters for Syracuse. We played just over a minute. Owens gets around Burton and lays it in. 14 points for Billy Owens. He leads the scoring. Derek Coleman has 11. Eric Murdoch has 10 to lead from the side. It's Burton who rolls it home. He now has 8 points.
You probably could count every time that Syracuse makes a great play, and Owens certainly with the left hand stuck it. Providence comes back and drills one to get even.
Into Owens, who got the advantage along the baseline. Conlon got a piece of it. Shamsuddin then loses it to Murdoch. Back comes screen.
Here's where they're good.
Carlton to Conlon. Count the basket. And the Friars have the lead. Marty is down. Might have been hurt a bit on the play, but he gets the basket, and Providence has the lead.
But Providence has the ball in the open field, as is demonstrated right here by screen. They usually come up with a good shot. Conlon gets the distributed pass from screen, finishes it off, gets whacked in the head, but I think it feels pretty good about finishing off that basket.
I think he got it in the nose. And he'll have to regroup. It was the arm of Manning that apparently has drawn some blood. Conlon will go to the line. Marty with 5 points in the game. And Providence has a 3-point lead.
That's what you worry about when a guy has been on the bench for that long. You wonder how he's going to respond. Conlon's come in. He's made some good things happen right away.
Thompson to Owens. Billy looks, finally goes low to Coleman. He's double teamed, goes up and has it blocked by Shamsuddin, and then the second time, Shamsuddin caught the foul. He got the first block cleanly, but the second one, no.
What's happening underneath? You see Coleman with the ball, and here's screen coming over. Now you see Shamsuddin, 3 guys on the big guy from Detroit. Providence has all 5 people in the blue. When the big guys get it, they attack, as was demonstrated right there.
3 personal fouls now on Shamsuddin. It was not on the shot. It was on a rebound that the second foul, or that the foul was called. Here's Owens. Owens with 16 points. Burton partially deflected. Shamsuddin tapped it in.
Providence comes right back after the Owens drive down the basket. Billy Owens starting to take the O into his own hands, finds the opening, and of course Providence once again answers.
Edwards, who's quickly into the lineup, is outside. Here's Owens.
John, check Providence's defense. Everybody is in the blue.
They are packed in tightly. And it's knocked away as the defense pays off. Burton comes back against Edwards. Went from the left to the right, and he'll shoot 2. Michael Edwards picks up his second foul.
Providence packed in man-to-man defense, comes up with a steal. Rick Barnes has to feel good about that. And when Providence feels they have an advantage, as Byrne did, Byrne had a one-on-one situation. He could have pulled it out, but when they feel they have a shot, they go right at the juggler.
Marquise Bragg picks it up for Shamsuddin. Johnson back in the lineup for Syracuse, replacing Manning. 17-17 to play. Burton's first chance at the line tonight. About a 70% foul shooter. The senior from Columbia, Maryland, has 9 points. Rick Barnes a little more calm, at least at this point. Of course, he started calm.
He started calm and then got a little excited.
I would say so. 2 for Burton. He has 10. The lead is 5. Biggest lead of the game, obviously, for Providence. They trailed the entire first half. Sometimes by as much as 10. Thompson jumps it up, lane jumper, good. That's his spot. He gets in there, he's deadly. 9 points for Stephen Thompson.
Stevie jumps over everybody. He had to jump over 4 guys that time, but he still delivered.
Screens outside jumper good. So Carleton has the answer. He has 2 baskets in the second half. Did not score in the first half. Back to a 5-point Providence lead.
Both teams moving the ball very effectively on offense. Syracuse to the basket usually, and of course, Providence will look for the J.
And he's fouled on the play. Well, Stephen Thompson will go to the line, and the foul is on Burton. And Quinton picks up his 3rd personal foul.
We talked about the defensive problem. Take a look at 5 people all in the blue. Stevie, not really anywhere to go unless you jump over them, and that's what he tries to do, and he comes up with a foul.
You know, from that angle up in the corner here at the Carrier Dome, you can really get an idea of what you're talking about. You look up, and all of a sudden, there's nobody on the perimeter at all.
Exactly. They're all in the lane, and I tell you, this guy, he's 6'4", plays as if he's 6'9", can jump to the ceiling. He is unbelievable. Of course, you got Derek Coleman doing his thing, and of course, Billy Owens having a fine start in the second half. However, they're down 5.
Bends in for Stephen Thompson. There are those, Don, who will question whether or not he's really 6'4".
Yeah, he doesn't look that. Of course, he's got so many 6'9" and 10 people on his team that he looks a little small.
1 out of 2. Conlon tips it to Marquise Bragg. 45-41 Providence. Bragg in the lane to Conlon. Loses it, and that is a play they worked so hard on earlier today. Entering the ball and looking for the cutting big man. They had it set up, couldn't handle the pass.
Yeah, he was open. Not a bad pass, but good hands by Syracuse on defense.
Johnson looks to Coleman, who looks to Owens. Not there. Goes back to Michael Edwards. Owens starts a move against Bragg, has to bring it back. Johnson's jumper, good. Johnson's first field goal. He has a couple of foul shots, and the lead is down to 2.
One of the first hoops from 16 feet that Syracuse has made in a couple of games.
There have not been many. Bragg has it knocked away and out of bounds. Johnson overtaking tickets. 15:48 to go. And those who have tickets here tonight are enjoying a good one. A 2-point Providence lead. We'll have more coming up.
Well, Billy Owens has been said that he can do it all. And if you catch him right in this play here, look at lunge by Burton. He goes by, and this is where he's great. Take a look at the defense. It's there. He avoids it and uses the left hand to finish it off. That's why he's already being touted as an All-American, only a sophomore.
Not quite sold out, but close to it. The 9th largest crowd in the history of this building. They have drawn over 4 million people to the Carrier Dome since it opened. They have already won the championship, the attendance award for college basketball in advance.
I don't think anyone's going to threaten their record.
A 2-point lead for the Friars. Providence with the basketball. Conlon. Baseline knocked away. Again, it was Owens getting a piece of it as Murdoch tried to sneak in backdoor along that baseline.
Providence likes to do that, and Murdoch, he's slippery, he's sly, he finds the open areas, be it a zone or a man-to-man. And of course, right now, Syracuse in their 2-3 zone.
13 seconds on the shot clock. 15:27 to play. There's a baseline move to Bragg. Almost goaltending, but they say he didn't get a piece of the ball above the rim. Edwards has it stolen away by Screen.
They got the numbers.
4-on-1. Screen through the hands of Bragg. Oh, my.
Rick Barnes can't believe it. Pass just goes by the man out of bounds. And, of course, Derek Coleman, the big Syracuse, plays above the rim. Check it out right here. There's tips going all over the place. Might have been a goaltending, no call. And Owens comes down with the ball.
It looked like Johnson got a piece of it. The officials didn't think so. Edwards has it now to Thompson. 15 to play in the game. Boy, golden opportunity missed by the Friars.
Could come back to haunt them. They could have gone up 4. And, of course, Syracuse has an opportunity to wheedle it to 2.
They go low to Coleman, who lays it in. We're tied. 13 for Derek. It's 45-45.
You have to be impressed with Syracuse's patience against that collapsing man-to-man D, and they find the big guy, and he finishes it off.
And the 32,000 plus Romping and stomping right now, trying to help the Orangemen. Screen against Edwards. Keeps his dribble. Now goes to Shamsuddin. They roll that pass. And again, look for the other big man. That time it doesn't work. 3-on-3, but Owens will get the basket.
Look out, the big guy from Carlisle, PA, demonstrating why he's got the versatility to do it all. Another Magic Johnson. Great
18
effort.
points for him.
Basket by Billy Owens is good. The foul is on Carlton Screen.
Billy Owens took it 94 feet, and here it is. What I love about it is the body balance. He avoided one Providence player, finishes it off, goes to the line, and it can put Syracuse up 3. Of course, big play. Providence has a 4-on-1. Do not finish it off. Syracuse, good defensive effort. Owens with a 3-point play.
Well, Billy leads all scorers now with 19. The lead is 3, and again the crowd roaring at the Carrier Dome as the Dome Ranger roams courtside.
Syracuse changing from a 2-3 to now they're man-to-man D, and of course Providence likes to go inside.
Conlon draws a foul on the baseline. That'll be charged to Billy Owens, his second. Neither team in foul trouble team-wise at the 13:50 mark.
What's very interesting is, of course, Providence likes the outside shot. They like the three-pointer, but tonight it was demonstrated during their workout, John. They want to get it down low to Murdoch. To Shamsuddin or Conlon.
They've been successful. Burton for 3. Good. And we're tied. Quentin Burton with his first 3 is 18th of the year. It's 48-48.
If that shot shows, Quentin Burton will take it. Last year, hesitant. This year, confidence that he can stick that jump shot.
Edwards feeds Owens to Thompson. And this is a unit we've seen a lot of, led by Edwards. Owens is short from the side, gets it back, goes up left hand. Here's Coleman. Up, in.
NBA rebound. That's a big one by Coleman. Outstanding. Take a look at him. He went over everyone. The wingspan that time took care of 3 or 4 Providence Friars.
The 9th largest crowd in the history of the Carrier Dome, and it's a 2-point lead. Burton tries to answer, does, and he'll go to the line. Derek Coleman picks up his first foul, but a great effort by Burton. He had the 3 to tie it earlier, and now he'll go to the line. A chance for another 3-point play.
You're seeing some outstanding basketball here. Coleman at the other end, and now we talked about getting the ball down low to the big guy. This time, Quentin Burton, he's got Derek Coleman, one of the largest guys in the country, and defensively goes at you all the time. Half a hook, good. He goes to the line, and Providence now can take the lead.
You know, you look at Rick Barnes and the fact he said, we're not going to change. We're still going to come in. We're going to run. We're going to do what we do best. And they've also forced it inside, which you wouldn't think teams can do, but he's done it successfully. And the edge goes back to the Friars by 1.
Well, just when you think Syracuse had the hammer, Providence has answered again. They've done it all night.
Johnson spins it to Edwards. He'll shoot 3. No, 2. It was a 2-pointer for Edwards. He was on the line. Edwards' first basket. Burton tried to answer, couldn't. Thompson with a rebound. It's knocked away. And it'll be Orangemen basketball. Syracuse by 1 at the 12:30 mark.
Well, the 32,000 get excited when you stick a 10 or 15-foot jump shot. And that time, the little guy, Michael Everett, from New Jersey, delivered it. And they loved it.
Baseline now. Owens comes back. Thompson for 3. Owens fights for the rebound. Coleman comes down with it. He's fouled by Sadler. Count the basket.
They're celebrating at the Dome right now, and the big guy, Derek Coleman, delivers one off the glass, puts them up. Check this, between the legs. He can handle, he can rebound, and now he kisses it off the glass and now goes to the line to finish off a 3-point play. Syracuse right now demonstrating some of the talent that everybody's talked about, why they were number 1 for most of the year. They've got some great talent, and they're playing a lot more fluid tonight. They're taking the shots when they're shown.
6 out of 8 at the line also for Coleman in the game. It's a 4-point Syracuse lead after that 3-point play, 55-51. Who will answer? Will it be Burton? He's pushed from behind. He travels. And Rick Barnes is up again, and he's working hard.
He can't believe it because he's saying he got fouled.
11:56 to go. Rick will still be talking when we come back after a word from your local station. This copyrighted telecast is produced by authority of the Big East Conference and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Big East Conference is prohibited. Rick Barnes might not agree with all the accounts of this game.
Well, Rick has been excited all night here. I think he thought he got tripped. However, a traveler's call, and you could check him out. He's as active as his Friars are on the floor, up and down the sideline. Might have been a trip, of course. Looking from where the official called it, he didn't see it that way. Calls the travel.
And it was Jim Howell who hit him with a technical early in the ball game. All right, now 55-51. Syracuse with the lead and the basketball. Thompson looks to Coleman, comes back to Owens, knocked away by screen. Burton tries to lead him against Edwards. Paco up, won't go. That'll be 3 on Michael Edwards, the freshman from New Jersey. And at the 11:38 mark, time remaining in the game, Screen will go to the line and try to cut into that 4-point lead.
Big steal once again by Carlton. Great effort on the defensive end, brings it up the floor. Good penetration, goes to the line to shoot 2.
And Carlton Screen has made 45 of his last 46. He has been a tremendous foul shooter. His next miss will be only his 10th of the year.
He's got great confidence in himself. His entire floor game is right there. He sees the floor well. He keeps his head up when he got the ball. And he goes to the line. Great delivery and
gets the roll.
Another couple when it's going well.
6 for Screen, all in the second half. It's 55-53.
Providence sneaking back again into it. They're down 4.
And Watts picks up the foul. And I tell you, I almost agree with Boeheim. That is almost an intentional foul. I think that's what Watts was out there to do.
Yeah, they want him to go to the line. They would rather have Stevie go to the line than
but he's not going to go to the
hoop.
line yet because it's only the 15th foul. Johnson outside. It's it back. Edwards bounces it once off his head. And they get the ball into Owens, who spins around. A beautiful move. 21 for Owens as he worked his way around Shamsuddin. It's a 4-point lead for the Orangemen.
Get the ball to Billy, and he'll do the rest tonight. He wiggled low, finished off a great shot.
Screen penetrates. Watts for 3. Yes, that's his shot. Watts with a 3-pointer. He has 24 3-pointers and 2 2-pointers this year.
Well, the young man from Connecticut, he goes into the game knowing he has to get free for the 3. Did that time and delivered.
Thompson is fouled again by Watts. That's 3 on Chris. 10:40 to play in the game. It's Syracuse 57 and Providence 56. Watts will come out as Murdoch. Now Watts is going to stay on. Murdoch is going to replace Burton. Let's give Rick Barnes some credit in the way he rotates his players, because of the up-tempo game that he plays, he's got to have fresh bodies out there.
And he does a great job at it. Now he's got a 3-guard offense in there. He's got the 3 little guys.
Owens jumper, short. Shamsuddin up high, strips it down, and it winds up in the hands of Screen with Murdoch. On the right side, Murdoch gets the basket, and he's fouled. Boy, I tell you what, that also could have been a technical foul on Billy Owens, who kicked the ball away.
A little touch football here. Screen, of course, dynamite when he gets the ball in the middle. I love about him. He comes to the line, stops the way all coaches want your players to do, gives it to Murdoch, and Murdoch finds a way to finish it off, and here it is between the uprights. No call made, but could have been a technical. Dangerous play by Billy Owens.
Well, it drew an irate reaction again from the Providence bench. Murdoch finishes off the 3-point play and puts Providence back on top by 2. Watts now leaves. Marquise Bragg, Shamsuddin, Conlon, Murdoch, and Screen on right now for Providence. It's Edwards, Thompson, Coleman, Owens, and Ellis. LaRon Ellis gets the basketball. He's in the lineup. Edwards back to Thompson. Down the lane for that jumper. It's going to be short. Shamsuddin had it. Almost lost it. It's Conlon to bring it down. 10 minutes remaining in the game. A 2-point lead for the Friars. Screen all the way down. Left hand won't go.
When Carl's screen has the ball in the middle of the floor, he is as dangerous as any guard in the Big East Conference. They got the numbers. He draws Edwards to him with a little head fake right there. Brings him to his left, almost finishes off the play, and is fouled. Bumped with the body, but great maneuvering and excellent utilization of the head fake.
And once he got him on his hip, Dom, you knew he was going to go to the hole.
Sure, he knew he had him and almost finished it off. But of course, when he goes to the line, you can count him.
7 points for Carlton Screen, who is 48 out of 49 at the line. Just tremendous foul shooting by Screen.
Friars, if you've noticed, have not picked up the pressure D. They have fallen back into their half-court man-to-man, and they pack it in as has been demonstrated the entire second half.
Edwards won't roll. Conlon with a rebound. Should also point out that Carlton Screen has made 26 in a row at the line.
Oh,
beautiful feed to Shamsuddin.
See the floor? He can do it all.
It is a 6-point lead. 63-57. The Friars have charged in front. Back with the 9:33 remaining after a word from your local station. Other Big East games in progress. UConn with about 11 to play has a 1-point lead over Georgetown, so that one's certainly not over. The Hoyas a chance to be number 1. And about 8 minutes to go here. St. John's out in front of Boston College by 18 points. And Carlton Screen has sparked a surge by the Friars that have given them their biggest lead of the night, an edge of 6.
Check him out right here. A little look away. Finds the big guy down low. They deliver it, and he's been doing it all night. Quite a player.
Shamsuddin finishes it off. 9:30 to go. 63-57. Ellis, Thompson, Edwards.
Providence maintaining their tight man-to-man D.
Conlon overplaying. The foul is called on the shot by Ellis. Foul goes on Shamsuddin, who now has 4. LaRon Ellis, who will be at the line, has 4. Michael Edwards has 4. Those are the players in foul trouble. And I remind you again, 6 fouls in the Big East. Ellis, not a good foul shooter.
Famous last word.
Well, statistically, he's not.
That's right.
About 47%. Burton in. Shamsuddin will sit.
One more free throw for Lorano.
LaRon Ellis did not start the game tonight, even though he played as well as any Orangeman in the loss to UConn. Hits 2. Has 4 in the game. The junior from Tustin, California. Screen worked around Edwards nicely that time. He just took it over.
He did. Syracuse tried to press them.
Oh, bad pass by Burton. Conlon never saw it. It's a 3-on-2. Edwards. Owen stripped away by Carlton Screen.
Jimmy Bay, I can't believe not a foul called on that time. It looked as if it was all ball.
A contender for the Raleigh Massimino look-alike coach. He's a little must at this point. Edwards for 3. Good. The 10th three-pointer of the year for Michael Edwards. It's a 1-point ball game. Murdoch pulls up for the jumper. It's short. Bragg can't haul down the rebound. Here comes Edwards.
Oh, great.
Ellis finishes it off. And the Orangemen go back in front by 1 at 8:30.
Michael Edwards has stimulated this team. Syracuse has pressed. Providence wants to take it to the basket.
Conlon to Bragg, back to Conlon. They worked that 2-man play inside, but he put it on the floor too many times. The turnover gives it back to Syracuse. What had been a 6-point lead is a 1-point deficit for the Friars.
It's amazing. This game has gone back and forth all night. And Michael Edwards, a little guy from New Jersey, has stimulated the play, John.
Just as Screen did for the Friars in their little run. It's Edwards for three. Good. Burton tries to answer and can't. Murdoch keeps it alive for the Friars. Back to screen.
Syracuse is picking up full. Rick Barnes,
he wants a timeout. I don't think he liked the shot by Burton. 7:49 to play. Edwards has led Syracuse back to a 4-point lead. We'll return to the Dome Ranger in a minute. An impact from Michael Edwards, just as we had it from Carlton's screen earlier. Michael Edwards leading a surge for Syracuse.
Well, Jimmy Boeheim may have found the point guard that they've been talking about all year. Off the break, delivers it to Ellis, he scores, and he's got this place going.
It's a 4-point lead. Conlon looks to screen. Still a lot of time remaining. 7 minutes and 35 seconds to play. A steal by Coleman. Michael Edwards at work.
Edwards orchestrating the offense.
Coleman lost it. Lost control of it. Here's screen. Look at that speed. A burst, but he doesn't get the basket. Now Edwards is in foul trouble. Edwards picks up his 5th personal foul. Michael Edwards coming into the game was averaging about 16 minutes a game. He's played a lot tonight.
He really has, and he's delivering it. He's executing. Coming into this game, he has scored an awful lot of points in high school, John. So once he feels he's got it going, he delivered those 3-pointers and knew he had it going.
For one more, he'll become an assistant coach to Jim Boeheim. Carlton screen. 5 for 5 in the game.
Well, the battle of the point guards.
All of his action in the second half. Screen looking for his 10th point. He has made 6 in a row tonight, 28 in a row overall.
What's been interesting this half, Syracuse has picked up the pressure defense full, and Providence has stayed primarily with their half-court game.
And the hands of Murdoch almost forcing the turnover by Thompson. 7 minutes to play. 67-65. Syracuse with the lead and the basketball. Edwards penetrates. Coleman up in. Oh. That's 20 for Derrick.
Big play by the big guy. Edwards, of course, starts it with the penetration.
Murdoch along the baseline. Coleman tries to kick it loose. Edwards chases it down. Conlon dives for it along with Ellis. It's out of bounds. And it belongs to Syracuse.
Great action all over the floor. Ellis, 6'11", diving on the floor for the ball. Goes out of bounds. Syracuse has the momentum right now in a 4-point lead.
And 6:30 to play in the game. They hesitated a moment before starting the clock. Edwards looks to Ellis, goes instead to Billy Owen. He tries to go inside. Bragg for the steal, can't hang on. Marquise Bragg almost came up with the steal.
Good hands. Of course, Syracuse wanting to push it down low. Marquise knows that, almost picked up the steal, giving Providence another opportunity.
And a new 45 on the clock for the Orangemen. 12-2 overall. They are 2-2 in the Big East. Their losses to Villanova and UConn.
Well, both teams playing outstanding defense, good execution.
Owens back to Edwards. He's hit a couple of big 3-pointers. Ellis in the lane. A big basket by LaRon Ellis. And the foul goes on Shamsuddin. He's working with 5 now.
I think this is what everyone has been waiting for when the big guy who transferred from Kentucky. Edwards delivers it in low to Ellis, turns, spins, and sticks it. He's having one of his finest offensive evenings, and the people here in the Dome just love it.
He had 14 against UConn. He has 9 tonight. 7 of them in the second half. 72-65. The three-point play pushes the Syracuse lead to 7. It's the biggest they have had in the second half. The Orangemen were up by 10 in the first half. Inside 6 minutes we go. Hang on. If you think the Friars are going to quit,
no way.
Watching some other game.
That's for sure. They battled back and answered every call this evening.
Conlon, turnaround jumper, bending off. Owens had it, lost it. Scramble for it, still loose. Murdoch fouled by Derek Coleman. But give Derek credit, he was going for the basketball.
Jimmy Boeheim thought Stevie Thompson was fouled earlier, but has to love the effort by Derek Coleman diving on the floor here. Here's the ball. Stevie has control of the rock, but the action under here is ferocious. Both teams battling away. It skips around, and here's Coleman. Thinks he has it. Diving, picks up the foul.
Eric Murdoch at the line has made 5 out of 6 tonight. Eric has 13 points in the game, bending in.
Quietly, Murdoch gets his 13 or 14.
Very solid. He scored in double figures in every game this year. The lead is 5, and the foul on Murdoch is his second.
It almost looks, John, as if they're going to foul him just to get him. We're going to get him on the line.
Well, at this point, each team will shoot everything for the final 5:31. And Thompson will go to the line, where tonight he is 2 out of 3. On the year, though, less than 49%. Well below his season average. 11. And Derek Coleman, by the way, statistically matching with a career-high 19 rebounds. Bragg is fouled by Ellis. LaRon Ellis becomes the second Orangeman and the third player in the game with 5 fouls.
Foul line going to become very important coming down to the wire, and that's an area that Syracuse has had some problems.
But as a team coming in this year, Syracuse is shooting about 65%. That is not as good as Providence. The Friars are over 71% at the line. Burton goes out as Watts comes back in. And he's used Watts in some interesting situations, bringing him on to force things defensively. Hit a big three-pointer. Bragg, no.
Big miss. They needed the 2 there.
Well, Bragg shoots only 42% at the line. 73-67. Syracuse with the lead and the ball. Edwards. Owens. He's fouled. Marquise Bragg will pick up his second.
What's happened now, John? Edwards has stuck a couple of jump shots. Now, whenever he goes up for the ball, you have to respect that, and the inside is becoming more available than it was earlier in the contest.
Right back out comes Watts. It's Bragg, Murdoch, Screen, Burton, and Conlon right now. Edwards and Murdoch each with 11 assists.
Pretty good night's work.
Not bad. 22 for Billy Owens. Back in is Bent. Out is Bragg. Owens with 10 in the second half, had 12 in the first half. Screen with a rebound. Screen hanging. Conlon going up against Coleman. Oh, beautiful feed to Thompson. Here he comes.
They get it. It all started with that great pass from Billy Owens.
Murdoch, baseline jumper, good. That's 16 for Eric Murdoch. It's 76-69. Screen fouls Edwards. 3 on Carlton.
Murdoch came down that time, drilled the baseline J, but Billy Owens demonstrating why he's an outstanding basketball player. Didn't quite have control of it, but knew where it was to go.
4:46 to play. Owens has done a great job tonight. Or excuse me, Edwards.
Edwards with 11 assists, and of course he's been playing with 5 fouls, as is Ellis.
A pair the freshman. 10 in the game.
Syracuse sneaking away in this game right now. Providence needs a hoop bad.
Up by 9. Murdoch battling Ellis inside. Is Conlon. Murdoch. Screen. Had a notion. Murdoch will try a 3. Bending in.
He got it, and that's a three-pointer. Don't count these Friars out, because when you think they are, they come right back. A three-pointer, they get the bounce, and they're down 6.
19 for Murdoch. It's a 6-point difference. Owens has been a factor tonight. Edwards to Coleman. Coleman to Thompson, lost it on the baseline. Back comes Murdoch. 4-on-2, screen, spins, jumps, can't hit, but the follow by Bent up, rolling off. Conlon battles underneath, and Owens comes out of there with it for Syracuse.
The action is crazy. Both teams, I'll tell you what, they're leaving it on the basketball floor.
A great opportunity for Providence. They cannot capitalize. 3:40 to play. 78-72. Shamsuddin ready to check back in.
Syracuse spreading the floor here, John. They're bringing Coleman away from the basket and Owens. They're going to use the clock, run it down.
15. Back comes Derrick. No count, of course, because Providence is the trailing team. Now with 5 seconds to go, it's Owens in the lane, hanging, hitting. 24 for Billy Owens.
Big play by Billy, spins to the hoop.
Murdoch to Conlon. He'll get the basket and go to the line. Ellis might have fouled out of his second Big East game.
That looks as if it's Ellis' 6th foul. Providence right back to Conlon down low. What's nice about when you work on something and it comes through here, Providence wants to get the ball inside. Conlon gets it, delivers strong to the basket, fouling out LaRon Ellis, who's had a very fine evening.
LaRon Ellis leads with 9 points. The 3rd time he's fouled out this year. The 2nd time he's hit 6 in a Big East game. Conlon will go to the line. It's a 6-point difference. 1 tick under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Marty tonight is 2 out of 3 at the line. Short. Shamsuddin almost picked up a foul, and Eric Murdoch does. He's got 3. And we'll make the long walk from Rick Barnes in to Jim Boeheim's in.
I believe that is Coleman's 20th rebound.
Good night at the line. He's made his last 4 and 7 out of 9. Derrick has 21. The leading scorer for the Orangemen is Billy Owens with 24. Don't discount the play of the point guard Michael Edwards with all those assists and 10 points in the second half. Murdoch for 3.
And don't count the Providence Friars out, because Carlton's screen and Eric Murdoch can do it all.
2:49 to go. The lead is 4. The Orangemen have it, and we'll be back right after this word on the Big East Television Network. In the second half, it's UConn by 4 over Georgetown. And other action in the Big East. Also in the, let's see, what other scores do we have? Well, that's a second half score. Here's one. St. John's, Boston College has really cut into the Redmonds lead right here. 2:49 to play. 81-77 is our score. Syracuse is leading. Providence has not been that fortunate, Dom, in close games. 1-point games, they're 0-2 this year. 2-point games, they're 1-1. You recall they had a lot of tough losses last year in very close games.
They certainly didn't. Of course, here, John, they're stimulating their pressure game. They're picking it up.
The foul is on Burton. That's 4 on Quentin Burton. Barnes trying to snap Providence's 21-game losing streak at the hands of Syracuse. And Shamsuddin will replace Marquise Bragg.
Providence really active and aggressive in their defense. No qualms about putting Syracuse on the foul line. They're going to have to finish it off, and they have tonight.
Johnson missed his first 2, has made his last 3. Trying to stretch it back to a 6-point lead. Manning will check in for Syracuse. Johnson makes the shots, and he'll go to the bench. 83-77.
That's a pretty good back line there. Manning 6'11", Coleman 6'10", and Owens 6'8". They're in their 2-3 zone. They're going to make them take it from the outside.
Murdoch had a notion. Conlon, Murdoch in front of Thompson, comes up short, tipped away and picked up by Edwards. And Edwards is fouled. The foul is on Quentin Burton. He's got 5. So does Abdul Shamsuddin. Ellis is fouled out. Michael Edwards has played a long time with 5 fouls, Dom.
He certainly has, and he's involved in all of the action tonight, and it will be safe to say that he's going to see an awful lot of playing time in the future.
Big miss at the 2:12 mark. Screen to Conlon for 3. Good. Marty Conlon with 11 points. He hits the 3-pointer. He has 4 of them this year, not as many as last year, but the lead is down to 3. A lot of time remaining. We're just inside 2 minutes to go. Owens almost lost it.
Jimmy probably will wind it down if he can. Use some of the clock, being up 3 points here.
That's not the natural tendency of this team.
Not at all. Of course, Providence is going to go after the Rock, and if they have to draw the foul, I believe they will, putting Syracuse on the line.
Syracuse will take the timeout with 1 minute and 43 seconds to play. So a chance for Jim Boeheim to sit his troops down, plan their strategy. 23 seconds remaining on the shot clock. There's plenty of time there. And you said it at one point during the first half that the Orangemen can never relax against Providence. They find a way back in. If it's not from the outside, Murdoch, and all of a sudden it's Conlon. And then, of course, some very strong play midway through the second half by Carlton's Green.
They all contribute. It's a team with really no real star on it, no marquee player, so to speak. But they can all deliver. Screen and handling the ball. Murdoch, when you need that good basket or the quick steal, he comes up with it. Conlon can't shoot the 3-pointer. He delivers for them. And, you know, they're never out of the game the way they play. They just keep coming at you. And I think now Jimmy's going to try to spread the floor somewhat and then go to one of his big people, Owens or Coleman, who have been superb.
And as you saw, each team has 2 timeouts remaining. It's 83-80. You talk about the balance of Providence. Quentin Burton has 16 points. Shamsuddin has 9. Conlon has 11. Murdoch has 22. Screen has 10. It's very balanced. On the other side of the ledger, it's dominated by Coleman and also by Owens. Owens with 24, Coleman with 21 tonight, and a great assist from Michael Edwards with 10. Under a minute to go, and Connecticut still leading Georgetown by 3.
Well, Connecticut has won 4 straight. They've got it rolling.
Well, they really do, don't they?
The Civic Center will be jumping.
Away from the ball, the foul is called. The foul is called on Marquise Bragg. That'll be his 3rd. Well, a chance for the Hoyas. We talked about it earlier to become number 1 in the country, but it may be going down the drain.
I know. A couple of other teams have bitten the bullet today, so...
Well, if they all lose, it'll be the same next week, right?
That's right. They keep them all. It'll be interesting if it does.
Because Oklahoma's lost a couple during the course of the week, including today.
And, of course, Kansas has only had 1 loss.
That loss came to Missouri today. Oh, what a steadying factor Owens has been.
Owens has really bounced back. I thought he struggled somewhat against the University of Connecticut on Monday night, but he's played solid and certainly doing the things that we all feel he can.
Bending off, Conlon a rebound. It's a 4-point lead, 1:40 to play. Plenty of time for the Friars. Conlon pulls up for the 3. Got it.
Look out. You count them out. They bounce right back.
A 1-point game with 1:30 to go. It's 84-83. The last 2 threes by Conlon. Edwards to Thompson. Coleman down the lane. Forces one up. scramble. Thompson is there. That won't get there, but Coleman is.
Derek Coleman delivers. Took a tough shot, but those big people, those long arms, great timing.
And this time Edwards out on Conlon. They're not going to let him trail. They tried to go low to Shamsuddin. It's picked off by Owens. Syracuse gets the ball, and Murdoch picks up the foul.
Eric Murdoch, somewhat frustrated, goes after Billy Owens. Maybe not a bad play because he puts him on the line. He has to make it. He stops the clock. But Owens and Coleman have been outstanding.
Well, they tried to go down inside, as we've seen so often, but a good job by Owens to get in front of Shamsuddin.
Owens moved to the side of the basketball, picks off big steal, and will go to the line shooting 1-on-1.
Look at the scramble by Murdoch as he takes it away from Manning. A big miss. It's a three-point game. Conlon kicks it in the court. Burton to tie. It's short. Owens lost it. Shamsuddin up and in.
Number 25,
And now it's a one-point game. 35 seconds to play. Syracuse hanging on here at the Carrier Dome. We'll be back to finish it off from Syracuse in just a minute. What a basketball game, and it is not over yet. 35 seconds to play. The three-point attempt to tie, but Shamsuddin had the answer underneath.
Well, a great rebound here. Shamsuddin comes up with a loose ball. Syracuse makes the best defensive effort of the night when they don't foul him there, and they maintain a one-point lead.
Credit Murdoch was setting up that play. He got a piece of it. And a foul is on Watts. Or maybe a double foul with Johnson and Watts. Let's check it out.
Looks as if it's a call on Watts. Johnson going to the line shooting 1-on-1. Of course, Rick Barnes didn't want to waste any time going right to the foul.
Watts picks up the foul. He was a little confused momentarily by Bob Magadan's call as to who it was against.
I thought it might have been an intentional foul because he had given up the ball and went right at him.
Johnson has made 4 in a row at the line after missing his first 2. These are critical with 33 to play. No good. Conlon rebound. A chance for Providence with 30 to go to take the lead.
No timeout by Rick Barnes. He wants his guys to execute. They know what they have to do.
They're working around the perimeter. Burton to Murdoch to screen. You see the time remaining, 15 seconds to go.
They're going to wind it down and take the last one, it looks like, John.
Screen working off a screen. Here's Murdoch. Foul line jumper good at 4 seconds. 3 and timeout is called.
Unbelievable effort. Eric Murdoch, he's the guy when you need it done. You see Jimmy Boeheim just Frida. Can't believe it, but Murdoch delivers a great foul line jump shot.
Keep in mind, Syracuse has won 26 out of 28 in this building. They won 18 of 19 a year ago. One of their 2 losses this season has been here. Here's the foul line jumper, and he's wide open. It's
wide
like
open.
A foul shot.
Came off a little screen, a little pump fake, and he's the money man for Providence. We talked about it all night. Screen Murdoch. They deliver it. That was one of the biggest hoops of his career.
Murdoch hits a key one. 3 seconds remaining. The problem for Syracuse is they've got to go all the way from one end to the other.
Exactly. It's going to be tough. And now it'll be interesting if Providence puts a man on the ball right here. They like the pressure D. Of course, you don't want him to throw over it. He may fall off and let them inbounds the pass in front of the defense, John.
You know that every Friar fan here and those watching in Providence are going to hold their breath for the final 3. Could it be for the first time since December of '74? Could it be for the first time after 21 straight losses that Providence is going to prevail? This is their shot.
Well, the way this year has gone in the Big East, it's crazy. So you couldn't have anything better from the standpoint of a great basketball. Syracuse has pulled themselves back, playing very well, but Providence has answered every time they've had to.
Some people are filing out, but not completely. What they do is they go up to the top and stand in the exits.
Oh, wow.
Some of them probably think it's over. Crazier things have happened.
I guess so. I've been to games where there's 1 second and they still can pull it out.
Now Conlon will call time as they had all of the Orangemen down past half court, trying to set up maybe a baseball pass.
It looks as if that's what they're trying to do. Put it down for the big guy. Surprising not to have Coleman down at that end because he's long, he's big, he gets the ball pretty well, and he's got a great pair of hands.
It'd be interesting to see if Boeheim changes his strategy. Obviously, Providence came out, took a look at what the setup was, and went back to the drawing board.
Well, they got the big guy on the basketball, so they want to get it up high. Of course, if Syracuse does get the ball, they will have enough time to take a shot. So they still have to maintain the defense, and you don't want to foul right now either if you don't have to.
87-86 Providence. It has been a battle in the second half. Greg Burke informing us that Rick Barnes has had pretty good success in overtime as a head coach. He's 3-1.
Well, you're on the odd number. Kind of unlikely at this point that you'll have an overtime game, but
that's true.
Give this Providence team a great deal of credit, John.
You still don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, Manning, Owens, Johnson, Edwards, and to inbound the play with no timeouts remaining, it'll be Derek Coleman. He can run the baseline, keep in mind. No timeouts remaining for Providence. That should be the last one for Syracuse. We'll double check it.
He hopes it is, because if not, it's a technical.
There's still 3 seconds to be played, and we have had 3 timeouts, but neither team now has a timeout remaining.
John, you think these coaches don't earn their keep? I'm telling you, the wheels are turning in Jimmy Boeheim's huddle right here. Who to get the ball to? He's got Coleman with it. He feels he has the best wing to deliver it down the floor. He had 2 people on half court and 2 down the bottom with Owens, of course. They probably would like to get the ball to Owens if they could at this time.
Well, they've got some size out there. They're going to use 1 to inbound the ball, and let's see if they go back to that same set. At half court, Thompson and Johnson. Manning and Owens. This is the Carrier Dome, the 9th largest crowd in the history. Over 4 million have watched basketball in this building, and they have seen a dandy tonight. Right now it's Providence, 87-86. There's the baseball heave, batted away, loose on the court, up with it is Manning, shot no good. And the ball game is over. They got the shot, but a key basket, and this one is over. So 21 games of frustration ends. A disappointment for Richard Manning, the sophomore. He had the shot. It came back out. The celebration for Providence.
The Friars pulled it together. Coleman got the ball to where he wanted to. Rick Manning had the open layup, so to speak, didn't finish it off, and the Friars for Providence are celebrating.
Let's watch it again. The final 3 seconds of the game.
Here's the baseball pass by the big guy, Derek Coleman. It flips off one hand, but Rick Manning comes up with the loose ball, has an opportunity. Unbelievable effort. Both teams playing their brains out.
Well, it was a difficult choice for our Plymouth player of the game, but we had to give it to the guy who got the game winner. His name is Eric Murdoch. What a ball game he had. Murdoch with 16 assists. You see the points. He got the game-winning basket. Murdoch lifting Providence to their first victory ever in this building, and after 21 years and all the way back to 1974, it's over. The Friars have won.
The Friars have done it, and Eric Murdoch, Carlton Screen, they all put it together tonight. A great, great victory, and Rick Barnes stuck with what he believed, his philosophy, the transition and the man-to-man D.
Along with Dom Perno, I am John Sanders. Again, our final score tonight at the Carrier Dome, the first victory ever for Providence, 87-86. The preceding has been a Big East Conference Television Network production.
Providence College basketball is sponsored by the Rhode Island Blue Cross and Blue Shield family of health plans. No one protects you better. Brooks Pharmacy, you'll like what we do for you. Narragansett Electric, caring about energy, caring about you. And Team Rizzo, offering Ford, Pontiac, and Cadillac.